Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this presentation, we will be discussing various corporate actions, including bonus issues, dividends, rights issues, and splits or consolidations. On this first slide, you'll see an overview of some upcoming events scheduled for May 2026, such as bonus issues for Odrock Limited, Aptus Pharma, and Biogen Pharmachem Industries. We'll also be covering recent and upcoming announcements, results, and other key updates. So, let's dive in and explore what's ahead in the world of corporate activities. Let's take a look at the dividend announcements from various companies. Premier Energies Limited has declared an interim dividend of 75%, which translates to Rs. 0.75 per share. Moving on, Quest Corp Limited has announced a special dividend of Rs. 3 per share, highlighting a significant one-time payout. Ramkrishna Forgings Limited has declared an interim dividend of 50% or Rs. 2.5 per share. Amax Autos Limited also declared an interim dividend, this time at 25%, but the specific amount per share isn't shown here. Loris Labs Limited has announced an interim dividend of 60%, which is Rs. 2 per share. National Aluminium Company Limited has declared an interim dividend of 40%, amounting to Rs. 2 per share, while Rs. 4.4 per share is mentioned, possibly indicating a past or additional dividend. KSB Limited has announced a final dividend of 220%, which is quite substantial, along with other corporate actions like bonus issues, dividends, rights issues, or splits consolidations. Additionally, on the same day, Odco Limited announced a bonus issue of 6%, and Central Bank of India declared an interim dividend of 6%, which is Rs. 0.5 per share. These dividend announcements reflect companies' efforts to return value to shareholders and can also signal their financial health and confidence in future growth. Keep these in mind as we analyze overall market trends and company performances. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies. Premier Energies Limited has declared an interim dividend of 75%, which translates to Rs. 0.75 per share. This indicates their confidence in maintaining steady profitability. Moving on, Quest Corp Limited announced a special dividend of 30% or Rs. 3 per share, along with an additional Rs. 2.5 per share. The special dividend often reflects a one-time surplus or exceptional profits. Amax Autos Limited also declared an interim dividend of 25%, while National Aluminium Company Limited announced a 40% interim dividend amounting to Rs. 2 per share, with another Rs. per share possibly indicating a different payout or a different class of shares. Loris Labs Limited declared a 60% interim dividend, showing strong confidence in their performance. Looking ahead, Oracle Financial Services Software Limited has scheduled their interim dividend payout for May 7, 2026, with a substantial Rs. 270 per share, which is quite significant. Similarly, Central Bank of India announced a modest interim dividend of Rs. 0.5 per share, scheduled for May 8, 2026. Lastly, KSB Limited declared a final dividend of Rs. 4.4 per share. These dividend announcements are key indicators of the company's financial health and their approach to sharing profits with shareholders. They also help us understand the company's cash flow and future growth prospects within the broader market context. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies. Starting with L&T Finance Limited, they have declared a dividend of Rs. 2 per share. Moving on to Jindal SAW Limited, their final dividend is scheduled for payment on May 22, 2026. Havels India Limited has announced a final dividend of Rs. 6 per share, with the payment date set for May 21, 2026. Next is GM Breweries Limited, which has declared a final dividend of Rs. 9 per share, along with a previous dividend of Rs. 1 per share. Attaché Limited has announced a final dividend of Rs. 10, with the payment date on May 19, 2026, and another on May 15, 2026. HBG Hotels Limited, has also declared a dividend, though the specific amount isn't mentioned here. Finally, Indian Energy Exchange Limited announced a final dividend of Rs. 2 per share, payable on May 20, 2026. These dividend announcements are important because they reflect the company's profitability and their commitment to sharing earnings with shareholders. Keeping track of these dates helps us plan our investments better and stay informed about the company's financial health. As we see, dividend dates vary, and some companies also have other corporate actions like bonuses or splits, which can impact our investment decisions. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming dividend announcements and key corporate actions. Starting with Gopal Snacks Limited. Their dividend is scheduled for Tuesday, 12th May 2026. Moving on, Godrej Consumer Products Limited will also declare its dividend on the same date, 12th May. Then we have Anand Rathi Wealth Limited, which is announcing its final dividend on Friday, 15th May 2026. They are offering Rs. 7 per share, which is quite a significant payout for shareholders. Next, Aptus Value Housing Finance India Limited has declared a dividend of Rs. 0.2 per share. Similarly, PAE Limited has announced its final dividend, although the exact amount isn't specified here. Kathari Petrochemicals Limited is also on the list with their final dividend set, offering Rs. 1 per share. And finally, Manappuram Finance Limited has declared an interim dividend of 25%, which is a substantial percentage, along with a share of Rs. 0.5. These announcements give us insight into how these companies are sharing their profits with shareholders, which is an important aspect of investment returns. Keep an eye on these dates for potential investment decisions and to stay updated on corporate earnings and shareholder rewards. Today, let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies, covering different dates in May 2026. Starting with PAE Limited, they declared a final dividend of 0.2 per share. Moving on to Manappuram Finance Limited, they announced an interim dividend of 2%, which translates to Rs. 0.5 per share. Then, Kathari Petrochemicals Limited declared a final dividend of 10% or Rs. 1 per share. On May 1, 2025, Samani Ceramics Limited announced an interim dividend of 200%, which is Rs. 4 per share. Similarly, Sundram Fasteners Limited also declared an interim dividend of 425%, translating to Rs. 4.25 per share. SNL Bearings Limited announced an interim dividend of 50%. Looking ahead to May 6, 2026, Ramkrishna Forgings Limited declared an interim dividend of 50%, or Rs. 2.5 per share. Additionally, it's worth noting that some companies also announce other corporate actions such as bonus issues, dividends, rights issues, splits, or consolidations. These announcements are important because they reflect the company's financial health and their confidence in future prospects. Dividends are a key indicator for investors, signaling profitability and stability. As we continue, we'll see how these corporate actions fit into the broader picture of market trends and investor sentiment. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies. Starting with LTM Limited, they declared a final dividend of 5,300%, which translates to Rs. 53 per share. That's a very substantial payout, indicating strong financial health or confidence in future earnings. Similarly, Havels India Limited announced a final dividend of 600%, reflecting their commitment to rewarding shareholders. Tata Consultancy Services Limited also declared a final dividend of 3,100%, which equals Rs. 31 per share. Moving on to the date, Wednesday, 27 May 2026, we see more announcements. LTI Jindal SAW Limited and L&T Finance Limited have all declared dividends. Jindal SAW Limited announced a final dividend of 200% or Rs. 2 per share, while L&T Finance Limited declared a 27.5% dividend, which amounts to Rs. 2.75 per share. L&T Technology Services Limited announced a final dividend of 2,000%, equating to Rs. 40 per share. Lastly, Larsen & Toubro Limited declared a final dividend of 1,900% or Rs. 38 per share. These dividend figures are important because they show the company's profit distribution policies and can give us insight into their financial stability and investor confidence. High dividends often signal strong performance and a positive outlook, which can be attractive to shareholders. As we analyze these, remember that dividend yield, payout ratio, and company profitability are key concepts to keep in mind when evaluating these announcements. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies, starting with Adam Ports and Special Economic Zone Limited. They have declared a final dividend of 375%, which translates to Rs. 7.5 per share. Moving on to Adani Enterprises Limited, they announced a final dividend of 130%, amounting to Rs. 1.3 per share. ACC Limited also declared a final dividend of 75%, or Rs. 7.5 per share. Next, Infosys Limited has announced a significant final dividend of 500%, which is Rs. 25 per share, reflecting strong confidence and shareholder value. Trent Limited followed with an even higher dividend of 600%, or Rs. 6 per share. Looking at some upcoming dates, Indian Bank has scheduled a final dividend of Rs. 8.25 per share to be announced on June 27, 2026. Additionally, Page Industries Limited has also announced a dividend, although the exact amount isn't specified here. These dividend announcements highlight the company's commitment to rewarding shareholders and indicate their financial health and confidence in future prospects. As we see, some companies are offering substantial returns, which can be an important factor for investment decisions. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies. First, Agribusiness Limited has declared a final dividend of Rs. 1 per share, which is quite straightforward. Moving on to RR Cable Limited, they are also announcing a final dividend, this time Rs. 5.5 per share. It's interesting to see the variation in dividend amounts across different companies. Next, Navin Fluorine International Limited has declared a final dividend of 43%, which translates to Rs. 8.6 per share. That's a substantial payout, indicating their strong financial position. Orient Cement Limited has announced a final dividend of Rs. 0.5 per share, which is Rs. 0.2 per share on the date of June 16, 2026. Avental Limited has declared a final dividend of 10.7%, and Ambuja Cements Limited has announced a final dividend of Rs. 2 per share, which is a good sign for shareholders. Additionally, Atom Total Gas Limited has declared a final dividend of 25%, or Rs. 0.25 per share. These dividend announcements are important because they reflect the company's profitability and their willingness to share profits with shareholders. They also give us insight into the financial health and confidence of these companies. Understanding these dividends helps us gauge the overall market sentiment and investment opportunities. Let's take a look at some recent corporate actions and dividend announcements. On Friday, July 26, 2026, SJS Enterprises Limited declared a final dividend of 35 paisa per share, which is a good sign of their profitability and commitment to rewarding shareholders. Moving to Tuesday, June 30, 2026, Bajaj Finance Limited announced a final dividend of 600%, which translates to 6 rupees per share, indicating strong financial performance. Similarly, Maharashtra Scooters Limited also declared a 600% final dividend, or 60 rupees per share, highlighting their robust earnings. On July 3, 2026, Exide Industries Limited announced a final dividend of 200%, or 2 rupees per share, and Mahindra Limited declared a final dividend of 60%, which is 33 rupees per share. Additionally, Mahindra Lifespace Developers Limited announced a final dividend of 35%, amounting to 4.5 rupees per share, and Raymond Realty Limited declared a final dividend of 20% or 2 rupees per share. These dividend announcements reflect the company's confidence in their ongoing profitability and their intent to share those profits with shareholders. Such dividends are key indicators for investors, showing financial health and dividend policy. As we continue, we'll see how these corporate actions fit into the broader market trends and investment strategies. Let's take a look at some key dividend announcements. Nippon Life India Asset Management Limited has declared a final dividend of 125%, which translates to Rs. 12.5 per share. Similarly, Supreme Industries Limited is also giving a final dividend of 12.50% or Rs. 25 per share, quite a significant payout. Moving on, Sona BLW Precision Forgings Limited has announced a final dividend of 18 paisa or Rs. 1.8 per share, and Syngene International Limited will be paying a final dividend of 12.5%, which is Rs. 1.25 per share. On the banking side, IndusInd Bank Limited declared a final dividend of 15 paisa or Rs. 1.5 per share, with the record date set for June 23, 2026. Hindustan Unilever Limited, one of the major FMCG players, announced a final dividend of Rs. 22 per share, with the record date on June 26, 2026. Lastly, Dr. Lal Pathlabs Limited declared a final dividend of Rs. 4 per share, which is 40 paisa, with the record date on June 25, 2026. These dividend announcements are important because they reflect the company's profitability and their confidence in future performance. They also impact investor returns and can influence stock prices. Keep these dates and payout details in mind as we continue to monitor market developments. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements. HDFC Life Insurance Company Limited has declared a final dividend of 2.1 rupees per share, which is quite a good return for shareholders. Moving on, IndiaMart Intermesh Limited has announced a special dividend of 300 rupees per share, which is significant and indicates strong profitability or a one-time gain. They also declared a final dividend of 300 rupees per share. Similarly, Hindustan Unilever Limited has announced a final dividend of 22 rupees per share, reflecting steady performance. Dr. Lal Pathlabs Limited has declared a final dividend of 4 rupees per share, showing their commitment to rewarding shareholders. HDFC Bank Limited, another major player, announced a final dividend of 4 rupees per share as well. It's important to note that these dividends can come in various forms: final dividends, special dividends, bonuses, or even stock splits and consolidations, all of which impact shareholders differently. Keeping track of these announcements helps us understand the financial health and cash distribution strategies of these companies, tying into the broader theme of how companies reward their investors and signal confidence in their future prospects. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements. Tech Mahindra Limited has declared a final dividend of 36 rupees per share, which is quite substantial. The company also announced a final dividend of 720% on its shares, scheduled for Wednesday, July 8, 2026. Additionally, several other notable companies have announced their dividends. Exide Industries will be giving a final dividend of 200%, equivalent to 2 rupees per share. Mahindra & Mahindra has declared a final dividend of 660%, which translates to 33 rupees per share. Moving on, Mahindra Lifespace Developers is offering a final dividend of 35.5% or 3.5 rupees per share, while Raymond Realty will distribute a 20% dividend or 2 rupees per share. Shriram Finance is announcing a final dividend of 300%, which amounts to 6 rupees per share. SML Maldra has declared a dividend of 235%, or 23.5 rupees per share, and Swaraj Engines is offering a notably high final dividend of 1100%, which is 110 rupees per share. These dividend announcements reflect the company's profitability and confidence in their future prospects. They also provide investors with a glimpse into the financial health of these firms and their commitment to returning value. As we continue, we'll see how these dividends fit into the larger picture of corporate actions and market movements. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements and upcoming corporate actions. Bansali Engineering Polymers Limited has declared a final dividend of Rs. 1 per share, which equates to a 100% payout. Moving on, Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services Limited has announced a final dividend of 375%, or Rs. 7.5 per share, indicating strong confidence in their financial performance. Regarding upcoming events, on Tuesday, July 14, 2026, there are several key corporate actions to note. Supreme Petrochem Limited has scheduled some important updates around that date. Earlier, on July 3, 2026, Monday, there are multiple announcements including bonus issues, dividends, rights issues, and possible splits or consolidations across various companies. For example, on Wednesday, July 8, 2026, Mphasis Limited will declare a final dividend of 620%, which is quite significant, translating to Rs. 62 per share. Then, on Friday, July 10, 2026, Mahindra Logistics Limited is set to announce a final dividend of 25%, or Rs. 2.5 per share. Similarly, Nestle India Limited plans to distribute a final dividend of 500%, amounting to Rs. 5 per share, and VSD Industries Limited will declare a final dividend of 20%, or Rs. 12 per share. These corporate actions are key indicators of company health and shareholder returns, and they also help us gauge market sentiment as we move forward. Staying aware of these dates and dividend announcements allows us to better understand the financial landscape and make more informed investment decisions. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements and corporate actions. Hero Moto Corp Limited has declared a final dividend of Rs. 7 per share, which is quite significant for shareholders. Moving on, Nugent Software Technologies Limited announced a final dividend of Rs. 6 per share, which indicates their profitability and commitment to returning value to investors. Sarla Performance Fibers Limited has also declared a final dividend of Rs. 2 per share, with the payment date scheduled for Wednesday, July 22, 2026. Similarly, Supreme Petrochem Limited announced a final dividend of Rs. 8 per share, with the payment date set for Friday, July 17, 2026. Adel Limited is another notable mention, declaring a final dividend of Rs. 30 per share, which is quite a substantial payout. Additionally, there are other corporate actions like bonus issues, splits, and rights issues that companies might announce, which can impact shareholding and valuation. Overall, these dividend declarations reflect the financial health of these companies and their willingness to share profits with shareholders. It's important to keep track of these dates and amounts as they can influence investment decisions and market sentiment. Let's take a quick look at some of the key dividend and corporate action events scheduled over the next few weeks. On Friday, the 7th of August, 2026, Gujarat Containers Limited is set to declare a final dividend of Rs. 1.5 per share. This is a good example of a company rewarding shareholders at the close of its financial year. Moving to Wednesday, the 9th of August, 2026, Fasico Crucible India Limited will also announce a final dividend of Rs. 12.5 per share. This indicates a strong performance and shareholder return from Fasico, which investors should keep an eye on. Then, on Friday, the 21st of August, 2026, Zen Technologies Limited plans to declare a final dividend of Rs. 1 per share. Alongside that, Mafatlal Industries Limited has a final dividend of Rs. 1.25 per share, and 5-Star Business Finance Limited will declare Rs. 2 per share. These dividends reflect steady profitability and shareholder value creation across these companies. Additionally, Amal Limited is scheduled to declare a final dividend of 5%. It's also important to note that the 31st of July, 2026, saw significant corporate actions, including bonus issues, dividends, rights issues, splits, and consolidations. These actions can impact share valuations and investor decisions. Understanding these scheduled events helps us anticipate market movements and make informed investment choices. These dividends and corporate actions are vital components of a company's shareholder return strategy and often signal financial health and confidence in future growth. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements and corporate actions. First, Foseco Crucible India Limited announced a final dividend on August 7th. Moving on, Gujarat Containers Limited declared a final dividend which amounts to Rs. 15 per share. Mafetlal Industries Limited also announced a final dividend of Rs. 1.25 per share. Next, Five Star Business Finance Limited declared a final dividend of Rs. 2 per share, along with an additional Rs. 15 per share, which might be part of a special or interim payout. Amal Limited announced a final dividend of Rs. 4 per share on July 31st. Marico Limited declared a final dividend, though the exact amount isn't specified here. Granules India Limited announced a final dividend of Rs. 1.75 per share. All these updates are part of our broader coverage of corporate actions, which include dividends, bonus issues, rights issues, splits, and consolidations. These actions are key indicators of a company's financial health and shareholder value. As we continue, keep in mind how these dividends reflect the company's profitability and their confidence in future growth. These updates are crucial for our investment decisions and understanding market trends. Let's take a look at some recent dividend announcements from various companies. Amal Limited has declared a final dividend of 5 rupees per share, which is an important indicator of the company's profitability and its willingness to return value to shareholders. Moving on, Granules India Limited has announced a final dividend of 75% of the face value, reflecting their strong financial position. Marico Limited has also declared a final dividend, this time at 400%, which is quite significant and suggests robust performance. Godrej Agrovet Limited has scheduled its dividend announcement for July 28th, indicating upcoming shareholder returns. Similarly, Godrej Properties Limited has announced a final dividend of 200%, along with a dividend of 10 paisa per share. Hero Moto Corp Limited has declared a final dividend of 37.50%. Notice also that the presentation slide highlights various corporate actions like bonuses, dividends, rights issues, and splits or consolidations. These are key events that can impact share value and investor decisions. Overall, these announcements reflect the active dividend policies of these companies, emphasizing their financial health and commitment to returning value to shareholders. Keeping an eye on such updates helps us understand the company's growth trajectory and investment opportunities.